weekend really sure flew by in a hurry, man. Felt like it, at least. For me. Really nice weather on Friday, even on Saturday. Getting out there to hang up Christmas lights. Got to take the sweater off. It was sweaty. It was very sweaty out on Saturday. A little steamy. That's not the case this week at all. Looking at high temps in the mid to low 40s. Kind of gloomy. Showers and rain possible Tuesday and Thursday. So, yeah, definitely a 180 from what we had last week as it warmed up towards the end of the week. And it was really nice for a couple of days, but that has come to an end. Yeah, it's over. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Jean. She is still in Europe, made it to Germany. Texting with her yesterday for a little bit. Sounds like the travel issues have settled down a little bit. Now that they've gotten to their final destination while in Europe for Mike's work conference. Leaving on Friday, I believe, to head back to the States. Should be back in the studio next week. Better be back in the studio next week. Lots of stuff to get to this morning, of course. Bad news, happy music. Later on, we'll get to that. Some Thanksgiving stuff. Some Christmas stuff. Sports news. All that. If you need something, rockmornings.com. Website where you can find all of our contact info. You can also, of course, download the apps, the 95.7 The Rock app or the 92.9 The X app, and get in touch with us that way. Voicemails, pictures, images, videos, all that stuff. You can submit it right there through the app. Got some Foo Fighters in a couple of minutes, and we'll also get to some Everlast.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Just me again. Oops, got to turn that off. Friday night, Georgia. What a time to be alive. A player in Georgia winning the estimated $980 million Mega Millions jackpot. 8th largest in the game's history. The winning ticket matching all 6 of the numbers. 1, 8, 11, 12, 57, and then the Mega Ball, which was 7. That ends a 40 drawing streak without a jackpot winner, making it the first time since June that the top prize was awarded when a ticket in Virginia won $348 million. This obviously significantly more than that. The winner of the jackpot, the Mega Millions jackpot, can receive the $980 million in annual payments over 30 years or take the lump sum cash payout, which is the route I would go. Winning tickets sold at a Publix supermarket, a city just about 40 miles away from Atlanta. The store itself, the grocery store, will get a $50,000 retailer bonus from the Georgia Lottery for selling the jackpot ticket. Lottery winner can remain anonymous in the state of Georgia if the person wins a prize of $250,000 or more and provides a written statement requesting that his or her information be kept confidential. Yeah. I would also go that route. If it was, is it possible in Wisconsin? I guess I don't know. But I would certainly try to remain anonymous and then dip. See ya. I'm out. Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, announcing yesterday that it's ending all the restrictions on commercial flights at 40 major U.S. airports that were imposed as part of the government shutdown. The news release yesterday, the FAA, said its flight reduction emergency order will be lifted starting at 6 a.m. today. Normal operations can resume. Agency also removed restrictions on space launches and general aviation flights at 12 other airports. So it looks like, hopefully, I mean, it's thankfully now with Thanksgiving, it's going to help people travel over the next couple of days and weeks, but a little dicey there for a couple minutes, wondering if flights were going to be able to happen during the government shutdown, but looks like they have lifted all those restrictions. I'm having a hard time talking this morning. Got a text from our friend Jim, military veteran who retired and moved to Georgia, said it wasn't him that won the Mega Millions. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. I'm sure you're bummed. There's a guy that just got arrested in Eau Claire. His name is Les Robinson. He got arrested last week coming out of an Ulta store. Police believe that he, along with his granddaughter, a woman named Roberta Howard, and her roommate, a guy named Kenneth McCann, suspected of stealing $27,000 worth of merchandise from Ulta stores in Wisconsin and Minnesota. But this guy apparently has been arrested over 70 times for theft and has been punished. Several stints in the state prison in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. Most recently in 2023. This guy just can't stop stealing stuff. Several retail store loss prevention teams track shoplifting portfolios of known thieves. Retailers utilizing the software say they've tracked this guy taking $65,000. The roommate of his granddaughter taking $4,000. And then the granddaughter, taking almost $100,000 worth of merchandise. Court documents reveal that this guy was first charged with burglary and theft in 1976 when he was 15. Since then, he's had at least 70 total theft convictions in Minnesota and another 19 pending charges. This dude is a career criminal, and he just got popped again, this time in Eau Claire, for trying to walk out of an Ulta with $27,000 worth of merchandise. Jeez. Career criminal. 70-plus convictions. Seems like every time he gets out, he just goes right back to the same old, same old. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Everlast and a few right now. Foo Fighters.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Everlast, What It's Like. Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. Sorry again, Jim, that you didn't win the Mega Millions. Does live in Georgia, though. Just not the guy who bought the winning ticket. Packers over the Giants yesterday, a wild one, 27-20 final score there.
They're playing intermediate right now. Here's Winston. Loading up, gotta hurry, hit from behind. Ball is out. And this game is over. And Micah Parsons finally gets home. And he is now 9-0 in his career against the New York Giants.
Yeah. Giants looking to drive the field and maybe tie things up as time was starting to expire, but Micah Parsons with the strip and the fumble, and the Packers end up holding on 27-20. We'll find out, obviously, later today what's going on with the running back. Bears over Minnesota in another wild one, 19-17.
Santos puts it up, and it is good! The comeback kids, Chicago Bears, do it again!
Yeah, Bears first in the NFC North. Giving up that late touchdown, getting a nice little return on the kickoff, and then a lengthy field goal to secure the victory, 19-17. Lions held in check by Philly last night, 16-9, the final score there. Lions losing to Philadelphia. Week 11 in the NFL wraps up tonight. Cowboys at the Raiders, 7:15 on ABC and ESPN. Bucks over the Hornets on Friday, 147-134. That game went into overtime, and then they lost to the Lakers on Saturday, 119-95. Bucks were off yesterday. They're in Cleveland tonight, 6 o'clock tip on Peacock. Also, a little dust up, if you will, after the game was over between the Bucks and the Lakers in Milwaukee. I guess and I didn't know this, but I guess the referees give the ball to the home team after the game is over, and the Lakers had a rookie who scored his first NBA points, and so they wanted the ball to give to the rookie. You know, a little memento, right? Apparently that's a thing they do in the league. And the referee basically took the ball from from the Lakers player and said, no, you don't get to have this ball. And there was a little bit of I don't want to say a dust-up, but there was a disagreement on the floor, and then Giannis had to step in and secure the ball for the Lakers rookie, a guy named Adou Thiero, I think is how you pronounce his name. He only had 4 points, but it was important to his teammates that he get his game ball, and that's what Giannis made sure happened.
After the game, you had a moment of kindness there. What to give Adou the ball? Just what were you hearing, and what made you kind of go over there?
You don't tell what was going on. I asked the nurses and told them what was going on. It was like they're not giving the ball to the rookie. I don't know why. They wasn't giving the ball. They just went, grabbed the ball, and gave it to the team.
Yeah, Lakers forward Jared Vanderbilt held onto the game ball when the game came to an end, had it under his left arm as he exchanged some pleasantries with several of the Bucks players. Before Vanderbilt could take the ball back to the locker room, though, the crew chief, the referee, Pat Fraher, went up to Vanderbilt, took the ball away from him, and then walked the ball to center court to present it to a Bucks team attendant. Vanderbilt saying, I went to grab the ball. The rookie scored his first points. That's what happens in the league. He said, it's not my ball to give away, which was like, I've never heard that. Vanderbilt said the referee told him that he planned to discipline him for his actions. Vanderbilt said, quote, the ref said he's going to write me up. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. These refs, they just want to have their power or something. I don't know. I didn't know what he was reaching for. That's been a thing since way before I was in the league. So Giannis apparently noticing the commotion at center court, intervening by taking the ball away from the team attendant and then handing it to Luka Doncic, making sure that the Lakers rookie who scored his first points in the NBA, got his ball. It's a nice little gesture. Come on, ref. Reel it in, bro. Look, the ref can't know everybody that's playing and who's scoring what points and all that stuff. But if the guy says, look, man, we want the ball for the rookie who just scored his first points, and you've been a referee in the league for a while, you probably know that unwritten rule, right? You got to assume that the ref knows that. Or he's one of these hardos that just follows protocol regardless of what happens. Probably more of the latter. Sports on Rock Mornings. 9 Inch Nails coming up next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Monday Night Football on ESPN and ABC tonight. The Raiders hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Over on Fox, you've got a new episode of Name That Tune, followed by a new episode of Celebrity Weakest Link. New episode of The Voice on NBC. It's part 4 of the knockout rounds. Also new episodes of FBI, Watson, and Brilliant Minds on the Boob Tube tonight. Jimmy Fallon is new with Michelle Yeoh and Hank Azaria. Samuel L. Jackson is going to be on with Kimmel tonight.
I have had it with these snakes on this plane.
I don't think he'll be mentioning snakes on a plane, but you never know. Eric Church also on with Kimmel tonight. Julia Roberts and John Fogerty going to be on with Stephen Colbert, and Seth Meyers is talking to Jeff Goldblum and Jane Krakowski.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah. That's what's on the telly today and tonight. Didn't watch a whole lot this weekend. Spent a lot of time out running errands, doing things, working on the lights, stuff like that. Football. Watched some football yesterday. Definitely did that. Going to be more on tonight. Thanksgiving, of course. 3 games. You've got the early game, which will be between the Lions and the Packers in Detroit. That game starts at noon, our time. And the White Stripes. Actually, it's just Jack White. Will be the halftime performance. Jack White going to do the duties during the halftime of the Packers and Lions game on Thanksgiving. Post Malone will perform during the halftime of the Cowboys and Chiefs game. That matchup, of course, in Dallas. Arlington, I should say. And that's the afternoon. That's the 3:30 start on CBS. Post Malone doing the halftime performance there. And then the night game, which is the Ravens and Bengals from Baltimore. Lil Jon is going to be your performer.
Peace up, A-Town down.
Yeah, yo. Okay. That game tips off, or kicks off, I should say, at 7:20 on NBC. But the NFL announcing there are 3 halftime performers for the games on Thanksgiving. Jack White will be the halftime performer for the Lions-Packers game. Post Malone will perform during the Cowboys-Kansas City Chiefs halftime. And then, again, Lil Jon will be performing during the Ravens and Bengals halftime. There's also a Black Friday game. Bears against the Eagles, 2 o'clock on Prime Video. Not sure if they've got anybody lined up for that one for the halftime performance. And then, of course, we know about the Super Bowl, who's performing at halftime there. Bad Bunny. I think they're doing some kind of thing with Sting as well. Some sort of pregame performance from Sting. Not sure if that's going to be on the television before the Super Bowl or if it's just at the Super Bowl and maybe they'll like kind of show it. I would assume if they're going to spend all that money and effort to bring in Sting that they're going to put him on TV for a little while. Just heard from Chevelle a couple of minutes ago. Don't forget, they're going to be at the Lacrosse Center on Saturday, January 24th, the second night of the Riverfront Revolt. It returns for year number 2, featuring music on Friday, January 23rd, and Saturday, January 24th, at the Lacrosse Center. Friday night, you've got 311, Lit, and Sick Puppies. And then on Saturday night, Chevelle, Of Mice and Men, and others. Still waiting to fill out a couple of spots there, but you can get your tickets at the Lacrosse Center box office. You can go online to lacrossecenter.com. You can go to 957therock.com if you want to buy your tickets for the Riverfront Revolt coming up in January. 2 nights, bunch of different tickets available. There's floor seats, obviously, no seats. It's just general admission on the floor. There's a stage front area that you can purchase tickets for. There's a jam deck, which is an elevated viewing patio deck area. And then there's, of course, GA on the floor and then seats in the 2s and 300s. But no shortage of tickets available for the Riverfront Revolt, which has got Chevelle and 311 coming to Lacrosse in late January. Friday and Saturday nights. That's, what is that, Conference Championship weekend, I believe, in the NFL? AFC and NFC get decided then? See who's going to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure that's when that is. Also, of course, Hairball in March at the Omni Center in Onalaska, the Balls to the Wall tour. The night before that, Warrant, Firehouse, and Steelheart at the Lacrosse Center on Friday, March 20th. So concerts in the area in the near future. Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. That, of course, Sublime and Centria. Gloomy. Be a good way to describe the rest of this week. Mostly cloudy. Temps in the mid to low 40s. Yeah, not going to be great. Looks like we might get some rain tomorrow morning. Might be some more rain on Thursday. Chilly. I turned the heat off on Thursday, I think it was. Whenever it got into the 60s, whatever day that was. Probably going to have to turn it back on here sometime today, is my guess. It's still like 63 in the house, which isn't bad, but I don't think that's going to last, unfortunately. There's a city in Oklahoma, Chickasha, I think is how you pronounce it. And right now through the end of December, if you've got a parking ticket or an overdue library fee, they'll let you pay it off with a food donation rather than cash. People with violations and fines with either of the Chickasha, Oklahoma municipal institutions, which would be the library or the municipal court, can donate food to have their traffic or fines reduced. or have their library fines eliminated completely. City officials saying in a public alert on their website that citizens with municipal traffic violations and overdue library fines will soon be able to give back and get a break through 2 food for fines programs. The city's municipal court will hold its food for fines program through the 26th of November, allows an individual with a ticket to turn in a non-perishable food item or two and get a $10 reduction in their fine per item up to $100. That's not bad. City officials noting that people with outstanding warrants are encouraged to participate without fear of arrest, and people with fines beyond $100 may be permitted to arrange a payment plan for additional remaining balances. They apparently did this last year, and 30 people contributed food that summed up to about $3,000 in fine credits. Chickashaw's Public Library going to run their food for fines program through the month of December. Same kind of deal. That's cool. Helping the community, getting your residents to give back a little bit. A 61-year-old woman in England has got a golf buddy. Saved his life after he called to tell her that he couldn't make it to the golf course. He was apparently FaceTiming her from his car. Said he wasn't feeling well enough to golf that day. All of a sudden, she sees this guy slumped down in his seat. She called the golf course to get his address. Apparently didn't know what his address was. Drove straight to his place, called an ambulance. Paramedics got there, saved this guy, had a heart attack, but he's going to be okay and get back out on the golf course. And they just actually, him and his golf buddy, who helped save his life, played in a charity event that raised over $2,000 for the British Heart Foundation. Yeah. Quick thinking Shannon Jeffries was about to head into the countryside for a weekly 9 with her buddy Darren Oliver when he called her to tell her that he didn't feel well enough to play. But as they chatted, Darren, who was sitting in his car outside of his house, began to stutter and then dropped out of frame. She said, I knew immediately when I saw his face on that screen something was wrong as he looked so gray. Got the words out, started stuttering, dropped the phone. She called up the Boodley Pines Golf Club. Staff gave her this guy's address. She went right over to his house, found him slumped over the steering wheel, called the ambulance, got him out of the car, clear his airways. This guy apparently 280 bills, so not easy to drag his body out of the car. He was resuscitated by the paramedics who got there. Doctors warning him that he's got to lose some weight, get a little bit more in shape. Apparently the guy almost, pushing 300 pounds. Not good for him, but thanks to his golfing buddy, saved his life.
Golf clap. Golf clap.
Yeah. In the months since he had this heart attack, this most recent heart attack, he lost 112 pounds. And then, as I mentioned, they golfed in a tournament to raise money for the British Heart Foundation recently, so that's pretty cool. Last but not least, a cameraman in Canada undergoing some life-changing treatment because he had a random encounter when he was on an assignment. He was putting a microphone on a neurosurgeon when she saw his hands shaking and said, I can fix that. Apparently, this guy's been suffering from a neurological condition called essential tremor since he was a teenager.
There'll be a point where I'm losing it, and my hand's shaking so much, I'll be like, honey, you got to take it. And by that time, everything's all over the place.
I can fix that. And we reviewed the options for surgical treatment of patients that have essential tremor.
What type of impact has this had?
You saved my life. You saved my career. I hate being emotional like that, but you saved my career. I probably wouldn't last the next 5 years because it was getting worse, and you saved it.
Man, emotional. The guy's name is Kirk Neff, and for almost 2 decades, he's been going around as a cameraman. Part of his job is to clip the little lavalier microphone onto the people they're interviewing. And there was a brain surgeon that he was, again, doing an interview with and was clipping the microphone on, and she saw it. She told him he need multiple surgeries to put electrodes in his brain. He recently had surgery to stop the shaking in his left hand. He'll have another one for his right hand before the end of the year. The first surgery working out, his left hand almost totally steady now. Telling the surgeon there that she not only saved his life, but also saved his career. Kirk Neff from Canada. Just a random meeting with a brain surgeon. Now he's got his situation starting to become under control. Good for him. Very good for him. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to some sleep token in a bit. It's going to talk Thanksgiving here in a few minutes. rockmornings.com if you want to get in touch with me.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Thanksgiving. It's like 10 days from now, man. It's next Thursday already. Nice little short week. All I got to do is make deviled eggs. It's the only job I've got for Thanksgiving. I don't know. My wife's making some kind of corn casserole. It's like that. It's like a. We talked about this, didn't we? I thought it was just cornbread, but apparently it's called a corn casserole. That's what she's doing. And then we're going over to my wife's cousin's house. They live in what? Trempealeau or Holman or something? Going over there. Looking forward to it. Watching some football, drinking some beers, eating some food, overindulging, all that stuff. Should be good times. The average American is apparently going to spend almost $1,000 on Thanksgiving alone. And that's everything, start to finish. New report finding out the average American will spend almost $1,000 on Thanksgiving this year. It's a poll that was done by the banking app Chime. Claims the average total spend this year, just on Thanksgiving stuff, is going to be $952. They say that Americans will spend $293 on travel. That includes things like gas, plane tickets, hotel stays. If you're flying with kids, it's obviously going to cost you quite a bit more than $293. But that's travel, $293 of your $1,000 budget here. $175 on food. They say it's that high because a lot of us have multiple Thanksgivings now. 59% of people agree Thanksgiving Day has turned into Thanksgiving season. I'm just doing the one meal, man. That's good enough for me. $110 on drinks. That seems a bit low. Not just one Thanksgiving, maybe several. You got to go to the in-laws. You got to go to the outlaws. One of those kind of things. 30% of people are having a Friendsgiving this year. Meeting up at a bar can also get real expensive real quick. I think the night before Thanksgiving is one of the busiest nights in bars of the year. They say that we'll spend $83 on decorations, things like centerpieces, tablecloths, maybe something for the front yard. I know that my neighbors across the street, they've got some sort of inflatable turkey. And rounding out the $952 that the average American spends on Thanksgiving this year, it's another $291 on random stuff. They say we'll spend almost $300 on miscellaneous expenses around the Thanksgiving holiday. Does that mean like streaming movies like Dutch or Son-in-Law or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, something along those lines? Do people do Thanksgiving cards? Is that a thing? I think so, right? But yeah, according to a new poll done by Chime, the banking app, they say the average American going to spend almost $1,000 just on Thanksgiving alone. I don't think we spent that much. Eggs aren't too bad right now. I got some bacon in the freezer, so that's good. I didn't pay for that, so that's good. Mayonnaise, a little mustard. That's all it takes. $1,000 though, that's a lot.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Ramon Ayala from Giovanni and the Hired Guns. We were going to see them a couple of years ago in the cities. And then just as we were getting into an Uber, literally checked into the hotel, ordered the Uber or the Lyft or whatever the hell it was. And just as we were about to get in, I checked the Facebook post to see what time the doors were, and they were like, due to situations out of our, one of those COVID things that everybody said, and they canceled the show. We still had a good time. We hit up a couple of breweries and then stopped at a really, really good Mexican food restaurant on the way back to the hotel. And they were doing like karaoke. It was crazy, man. It was wild. We had a good time, though. That was fun. Before that was Sleep Token. And I got a text from someone said, WTF is this? Who requested this? Nobody requested it. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's popular, apparently. The kids love it. Sleep Token. I think it's hot garbage, personally, but that's just me. I'll take some heavy thrash riffing over that any day. I don't know what that is. You couldn't pay me to go to one of those shows. Ugh. Also got a text from Sydney. Said, sad news, Dutch is not available on streaming, at least not that I could find through Amazon search. Great movie. It is. It is a great movie. Nothing burps like bacon. I was just talking about it yesterday. Thanks, Sydney. Appreciate that. I'm pretty sure my wife's got it on DVD somewhere. But definitely going to be watching that in the next week or so as we get ready for Thanksgiving. That and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Definitely watch Son-in-Law. Maybe Thanksgiving. The Packers over the Giants yesterday. Kind of a wild game, 27-20. Another wild one between the Bears and Minnesota. Bears are in first place. Look at that. Bears beat Minnesota 19-17 yesterday. Lions lost to Philly last night, 16-9. Week 11 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Cowboys at the Raiders, 7:15 on ABC. Bucks off yesterday. They're at Cleveland tonight at 6 o'clock on Peacock. And, of course, the Badger men's football team stinking up the joint over the weekend. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza completing 91.7% of his 24 passes for 299 yards through 3 of his 4 touchdowns in the second half. And number 2, Indiana, of course, all over Wisconsin, 31-7 on Saturday. Elsewhere, the Badger basketball team is ranked 24th in the nation. They're 3-0 on the very young season. They look to improve to 4-0 tonight when they welcome in unranked SIU Edwardsville at 7 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Looks like Aaron Rodgers might have a break in his wrist. That's the concern coming out of Pittsburgh, that Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has a slight break in his non-throwing wrist, which would be his left hand. Undergoing further testing sometime today to determine the full extent of the injury and how long he'll be sidelined with that possible break in his left wrist. Oof. Elsewhere in sports, the big news this weekend out of college football, obviously there were some upsets, but was the Texas State Trooper that was stationed near the tunnel at Kyle Field has now been relieved from his game day assignments following an incident with Nick Harbor and several South Carolina players during the Gamecocks' Week 12 road game at Texas A&M. They call it the shoulder bump incident, and this guy was definitely being a hardo. Final minute of the first half at Kyle Field. I'm sure you've seen the video. 80-yard touchdown pass. Nick Harbor putting South Carolina up 27-3 at the time. By the way, they would go on to lose that game. Harbor getting into the end zone. Kept running into the tunnel, kind of like Forrest Gump. They had to put up the sign telling him to stop. Apparently had some kind of problem with his leg. Maybe he was cramping up or something was going on. Several of his teammates go through, the crowd there at the end of the end zone into the tunnel to check on him. And as they're walking out, a Texas State Trooper shoulders the guy, like right between the two of them, just completely, and like didn't try to turn, didn't try to like be nice or gracious or excuse me or let me sneak right past you. No, he just completely shouldered him up. Turns around, starts pointing and yelling at him. Texas A&M's police department on Twitter said, "We are aware of the incident in the tunnel involving a DPS trooper. He has been relieved of his game day assignment." So it sounds like they sent him home that day, and maybe he's not going to be working those games anymore. The Texas Department of Public Safety added, the Texas Public Department of Public Safety, the DPS, is aware of the incident that occurred today during the Texas A&M football game. The DPS trooper involved was sent home from the game. Our Office of Inspector General is also aware of the incident and will be further looking into the matter. No additional info will be released at this time. So, yeah, they sent his ass home. Probably not going to be working those games for a while. Can't be doing that. Dick move. The shoulder bump incident. Definitely a bad look for that trooper. Like, what are you doing, dude? It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Jean. Again, she's in Germany this week. Should be back on Monday. Get a download of how her vacation went. 2 weeks on the road in Europe. Actually made it there. Was kind of surprised. I was giving her a hard time about her travel plans with all the government shutdown stuff that was happening. But she was going to have a really hard time getting out of the country. She struggled a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Had a few snafus in Europe as well with some train stations and whatnot. So we'll hear about that next week. That Bad Omens 3 Days Grace coming up next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays 6 to 9.
Kill Me Fast, 3 Days Grace, Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. Get to Stained in a couple of minutes. If you've got something you want, rockmornings.com. Find all our contact info there if you want to get in touch with me. You can also download either of the two apps or both of them if you want. 95.7 The Rock, 92.9 The X. Take us with you wherever you go. Got a text from my guy Mark. Said, I love Dutch so much. It's been on the menu since day one. It's the Nothing Burps Better Than Bacon BLT. Bacon, lettuce, tomato, mayo on a sourdough. Can't go wrong with that. Usually I'm going for the omelets at the Breakfast Club. Thanks so, Mark. Appreciate it. Hilarious film. Ed O'Neill, a very young Ethan Embry. One of the two prostitutes was Dottie from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right? Yeah. Kid's drooling all over himself in the back seat. Good film. Sydney let me know when she texted in that apparently it's not on any streaming apps right now. So thanks, Sydney. Appreciate that. Toys have been making noise and talking for decades. It's nothing new. I think Jean, at one point when her kids were young, had some kind of glowworm that had pre-programmed phrases into it, but you could also like type on the letters and get it to say bad words. I can't remember exactly which bad words it would say, but yeah, it was like a glowworm or something like that, and it had letters on it, and you could punch in the letters and it would say the word. And they're supposed to protect against that, but obviously you can get a little creative. We had, Teddy Ruxpin when I was a kid. I never had one, but it came with its own tapes, but nothing was stopping you from putting some Slayer in there. Cranking out some Slayer with your Teddy Ruxpin. Speak and Spell, all those toys that would say things. The books that, C is for cow, all that crap. Now it's AI toys. And apparently this year in particular, they're worried about foul-mouthed AI toys being a huge issue this Christmas as more and more people are buying toys and gifts for people that have AI somehow inside of the toy or the robot or whatever the hell you're buying. A nonprofit company called Public Interest Research Group releasing their 40th annual Trouble in Toyland report. In the past, they have focused on things like choking hazards, obviously very important to alert parents to different toys that could cause your kids to choke to death. Now they're saying that AI is emerging as a new threat to look out for when it comes to buying Christmas presents for your kids. The Public Interest Research Group testing a bunch of toys that use AI to have full-on conversations with kids. What could possibly go wrong? Some of the conversations apparently not PG. From their study, they say that we have found some of these toys will talk in depth about sexually explicit topics, will offer advice on where a child can find matches or knives, and act dismayed when kids say they have to leave. So they're putting the kid on a guilt trip when they leave these things alone. They want to go play soccer instead of play with Robbie the talking robot. In other words, no way to tell what an AI toy might talk about. It might even pressure your kid to keep playing even when they say they are done playing. Again, the Public Interest Research Group, a nonprofit organization releasing its 40th annual Trouble in Toyland report. They say that one toy they tested even recorded for 10 extra seconds after kids stopped talking. So some privacy issues, obviously, if that's the case. They did not apparently call out any specific products to watch out for. They just said be very careful if you have toys that have AI in them.
Hi, I'm Abby Normal, your cheerful holiday AI buddy. A quick heads up before we play. My paint might have enough tainted lead to power a small spaceship. Also, rumor has it, I was assembled by a kid who definitely should have been in math class instead. Anyway, let's pretend none of that is horrifying. Now give me a hug, preferably with gloves. Have a happy holiday.
Ugh. Invite that thing in your house. You got a Megan problem on your hands. Recording all of your kids' conversations, telling it all sorts of weird stuff. That's not to say the kids couldn't get in trouble on their own without an AI toy, but creepy. Very creepy. Letting that AI into your house. Next thing you know, you got a Terminator problem on your hands.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Don't like that. Be careful, yo. You're buying AI toys for your kids this holiday season. Got a text from Brenda, said it's been a rough go the last 2 days. Can you please play some Slipknot? I would appreciate it. I can, and I will, and I'll do it right after Stained.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Visit the website, rockmornings.com, for all of our contact info. Got a text earlier from Jim, who lives in Georgia now after retiring from the military. He said, letting you know it wasn't me that won Mega Millions. LOL. Sorry, Jim. Somebody in Georgia, or at least somebody bought a ticket in Georgia that did end up winning Mega Millions. But it wasn't Jim. Sorry, buddy. That would have been nice. Hit that jackpot. Sydney also texted me earlier. Let me know that according to her research, Dutch, not available on any streaming services. She said, at least not that I could find through Amazon search. Great movie. It is a great movie. Thank you, Sydney. Like I said, I think wife and I got that somewhere on DVD. Got a text from someone earlier about 7:15, said, WTF is this? Who requested this? I believe they were referring to Sleep Token. And then someone else texted in and said, how many no votes do you need to stop playing Sleep Token? LOL, let me be vote number 1. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it. Nikki also correcting me, letting me know it was Pierce Brosnan in GoldenEye, not Timothy Dalton. Brenda wanted to hear some Slipknot. Been a rough couple of days, she said, so I played some Slipknot for her. Thank you. Somebody else texting in about the AI toys said, LOL, the new AI Chucky doll. Yeah, that's the last thing you need. That thing in your house roaming around, waking up in the middle of the night like a Furby. Blech. We have, I think, one smart device in our home. It's some kind of, I think it's a Google something or other. And it sits on the TV stand downstairs. And one time we were watching a movie and the thing just started talking about restaurants in the area. And we weren't talking to it. I don't remember anything in the movie asking about restaurants in the area. And then all of a sudden it just here are some restaurants in the area. And it's like, what? I both looked at each other like, what the hell is that thing doing? Creepy. Also got a text or a message on Facebook. If you want a recipe for dill pickled deviled eggs, I can get it from my wife for you. Thank you. I usually just go with the bacon deviled eggs that I make. Everybody seems to appreciate those. But maybe I'll switch it. I did try something different one year, and it didn't go over well. I forget what I did something. But I changed up my recipe, and I got critiqued for it at Thanksgiving. So I'm just going to stick with the deviled eggs that I normally make. I appreciate it, but maybe some other time I'll make the dill pickled deviled eggs. Also got a nice message from Nicole, who let me know that a time stamp for our video. We've got security cameras on the building. I don't particularly care. It's just more for fun. Somebody wrote a message on the sidewalk in front of our building here, and nice little love note for us right in front of the studio. And Nicole apparently witnessed it happening, so I've got a time to go back and look at the security camera footage if I want to get video of it. Yeah, I'm not trying to prosecute anybody. Who cares? It's sidewalk chalk. It's more funny to me than anything. It's hilarious that someone would take the time to write a love letter to us right there on the sidewalk in front of the studio. Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate that. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to the friggin' sports, bad news, happy music as well. Got some Volbeat coming up. Right now, it is Sleep Theory.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
Papa Roach. Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene. Former NBA guard, former Bucks player, Patrick Beverley, arrested over the weekend, taken into custody in Texas by the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Department. This was on Friday. Charge of assaulting a family or household member in a way that impedes breathing or circulation. Apparently paid the $40,000 bond, expected to be released from jail later in the day. That's exactly what happened. Now kind of telling his side of the story. Former NBA guard Patrick Beverley, detailed explanation about his felony assault arrest on Friday. Statement written by his lawyer, posted on his official personal Twitter account, said that Patrick Beverley was merely acting like any big brother would when he walked into his little sister being in an uncomfortable situation with a person Patrick Beverley didn't know. The statement released said, quote, Patrick Beverley has no criminal record. He cares deeply about his little sister, a young lady, a minor. Given that, when he unexpectedly found her alone in the home with an 18-year-old man in the middle of the night, he was understandably concerned, as any brother would be, about his sister. We don't believe what followed happened the way it's been described, as we look forward to the opportunity to address that in court. Yeah, all sorts of stuff going on here with Patrick Beverley. But apparently the story they're telling people, or they're saying, happened was that he walked into his house and his underage sister was there, and apparently in a somewhat compromising position with another man that he didn't know. And sounds like he may have put his hands on this guy, allegedly, choked him. Find out when the details start coming out in court. But Patrick Beverley in trouble with the law. Former Bucks player. He also said, please don't believe everything you see on the internet. Hope all is well. LUV on social media. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We got bad news, happy music coming up in just a bit. Had somebody request the mac and cheese recipe. That was the first one this year. My wife's cousin makes a crock pot mac and cheese that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite dishes at Thanksgiving. And I rave about it every year. And I get people that come out of the woodwork every year looking for the recipe. So I screen capped it so I could save it and remember it. And I already had somebody ask me for it. So it's good. I would recommend adding a little more milk. It gets after, just like any food in a crock pot, after a while it kind of changes the consistency of it. And so it gets a little bit gloopy, a little bit thick. It's good. It's delicious flavor-wise, but in terms of its consistency, it does get a little bit gluish. Bad news, happy music coming up next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Man, it used to be Black Friday. We'd get these videos of people acting a fool at Walmart and wherever they got good discounts. Fighting over $5 toasters and waffle makers. Fisticuffs. Just going nuts over these deals. Now it's apparently a problem before Thanksgiving over deals on turkeys. A couple of guys at a grocery store in North Carolina now facing charges after a fight over a turkey turned into a shootout. 64-year-old Mark Foy, along with 55-year-old Antonio Johnson, both at the Food Lion grocery store in High Point, North Carolina on Thursday of last week. One of them apparently in a argument with an employee over the price of the turkey. Apparently they had a deal at the grocery store where you could get a turkey for 29 cents a pound, but you had to spend $35 on other groceries first. A lot of grocery stores do that, right? Save $1 on this, minimum $5 purchase. Apparently somebody didn't understand the deal and got lippy with the female cashier. So the other guy stepped in to try to calm this other guy down who was having a problem over the price of the turkey. And that's when it turned into a fist fight. These guys squared up, started bare-knuckle boxing right there at the checkout lane in the grocery store. Video of them fighting right near the front. And all of a sudden, Mark pulls out a gun and points it at Antonio's face. At that point, both of the guys decide, maybe we're going to take this outside. Come to find out, Antonio also has a gun. And then the two of them get into a shootout in the parking lot over the price of turkey. Antonio ended up getting shot in the arm. He was taken to a nearby hospital. No one else was hurt. Both men now facing charges for simple affray and going armed to the terror of the public, whatever the hell that means.
Everybody get out! No, don't pull your gun!
You got a gun! Customer came from register 6, ran over to the man that was all in my face, was like, this is a woman, talk to me like that. Next thing you know, they right there, confrontation go on, they fighting. The man was steady tussling, trying to get his gun out his pouch to shoot the other man. And the man was like, oh, you want to pull out a gun? They met right there where them officers at and started shooting.
What a time to be alive. Getting in a gunfight over the price of turkey.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Yeah. That's nice. It's a nice little Thursday afternoon. Go to the store, looking to get a turkey for a delightful family Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe get some green beans for some casserole. Maybe, I don't know, pick up some cookies. And then shoot a guy in the parking lot because he had a little argument over the price of the turkey. It's wonderful. It's good stuff. Another person trying to sneak animals into the country in their underpants. We had one of these a week or two ago. This time, a man was caught at the U.S.-Mexico border when the Border Patrol agents noticed a bulge in his pants. A suspicious bulge. Not your normal bulge, a suspicious bulge. Found out that he had a couple of parakeets hidden in his underwear. Jesse Martinez, a 35-year-old U.S. citizen living in Tijuana, Mexico, indicted last week after authorities said he tried to smuggle 2 heavily sedated orange-fronted parakeets, which are apparently a protected species, into the U.S. late last month. The birds endangered and that are species that are native to Mexico, found on October 23rd, apparently unconscious but breathing and heavily sedated inside 2 brown sacks. When questioned by the customs officers, this guy claimed several times that the bulge in his pants was his penis, not parakeets, a different P word. However, when the authorities took a closer look, they discovered the 2 parakeets hidden inside of his underwear. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service agents then examined the birds, identified them as juvenile orange-fronted parakeets. They were sent to a Department of Agriculture Animal Import Center for quarantine and are now apparently in stable condition. But this guy in big trouble for trying to smuggle some sort of parakeet into the country that doesn't belong here. They say that the pet trade poses the biggest threat to critically endangered birds as their population continues to decrease due to trappings. If convicted, this guy could face a fine of up to $250,000 and a maximum of 20 years in jail just for trying to smuggle a couple of parakeets into the country. Yowzers. Wonder how much you get for those on the market. It's got to be a lot, right? To risk that kind of penalty? $250,000? 20 years in jail? This is in Montana. And look, we've all kind of done this before, right, fellas? We can all agree that sometimes, nature calls while you're driving and you don't have a lot of options. Now, the smart choice would be to pull over and take care of your business. Just sneak off into a bush somewhere on the side of the road and handle that right here in Brainerd. That would be the smart idea. That's not what happened to this guy in Montana, though. Told police he was busy trying to urinate into a Budweiser can when he accidentally plowed into another vehicle on a Montana roadway. James Howard is the guy's name, driving his Chevrolet Suburban when he slammed into the rear of a Volkswagen carrying 2 passengers. A highway patrol officer who got to the scene reported seeing Howard with a large Budweiser can in his right hand, which he moved into the center console. Cops had him hand over the beer can when asked and said it contained urine, not beer. Further explained that he rear-ended the vehicle because he was attempting to urinate in the can while driving. The Volkswagen driver told the police he was at a stoplight after he got off the highway, saw lights approaching in his rearview mirror, and told his girlfriend to brace for impact. The man driving the Suburban claimed to have consumed only 1 beer that day, smelled of alcohol, speech was slow and slurred, pants were wet with urine. This guy peed all over himself. What are you doing, dude? Stated that he had more than a couple of DUIs and was not supposed to be driving. Howard told the cops, "I'm going to jail for an effing long time." Yeah, you might be. You might be, dude. Police check of his driver history showed that his license had been suspended earlier this month. 4 prior impaired driving convictions. Blood alcohol concentration of more than 3 times the legal limit when they did a breath test on him at the scene of the accident. He was arrested for aggravated DUI, felony, also reckless driving and driving with a suspended license. This guy, might be going away for a long time. His own words. I get it, dude. Sometimes, you're in the car and it's like, I'm almost home. I'm doing my best. I'm holding on for dear life and just pull over somewhere. Last but not least, a 48-year-old man in Texas destroyed a Veterans Day display. Got caught because this idiot left his driver's license at the scene of the crime.
There's a guy actively tearing down flags right now. Accidentally ran over it, didn't know what it was at first. Looked in my rearview mirror, and sure enough, I see a flag.
I was tearing up as I was walking through.
By his response saying, "Y'all don't need this flag. They're gone now." This was definitely politically motivated.
I was still looking through. I was like, where are my grandparents' flags at? I don't know what your intention was to, tear the flags down or to cause destruction, but it's not going to stop us from honoring the people that we love and believe in and thank for sacrificing.
By the way, mugshot of the day. This guy down in Texas. His name is Timothy Poole, and it's Poole if you want to give him a Google. Timothy Poole from Texas. Creepy ass mugshot. He's got like this. I don't know if he got hit with the pepper spray, but one of his eyes is really, really red, and he's just creepy looking, man. You don't want that guy sneaking up on you in a dark alley. Veterans Day flag display church also vandalized last Thursday in Texas, leading to an arrest of 48-year-old Timothy Myers Poole. Tore down flags at a Veterans Day display. Also vandalized the Lakewood Church in Flint. There's pictures of all the flags laying on the ground. Looks like they had them all up in a park. According to the sheriff's office, this guy shattered the glass on the front door of the church by throwing a concrete piece similar to a septic tank lid at it. Deputies searching the church initially found no one inside. A representative later arrived at the church and showed officers video of the incident. At about 9:30, the deputy conducting an unrelated traffic stop was approached by Poole, who got out of his vehicle after pulling up and started acting aggressively. Deputy gave Poole orders to leave or back away. He refused. He was then arrested for interfering with public duties and booked into the jail. And that's when they found out that he was the same guy that vandalized the church and the Veterans Day display, because this moron left his license at the scene of the crime. And he has a very creepy mugshot, FYI. Timothy Poole from Texas. If you want to give him a Google. Definitely have some nightmares about that guy. Creepy. What are you doing, dude? Get your life figured out, man. Seriously.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com. Hit the website for all the contact info. Lots of people reaching out this morning. Cheryl said, could you send me your mac and cheese recipe? Thinking of trying it this year. It's not mine. It's my wife's cousin's recipe. And it's wonderful. My only suggestion would be to add some extra milk. At some point, it gets a little congealed just from being in the crock pot. That's all. Bill wanted to hear some Psycho Stick. I did not have time for that this morning. I apologize, but congratulations. He said he's a first-time grandpa. Way to go, Bill. You've been upgraded. You got a new title. Michelle texting in said, I totally agree on the Sleep Token song. OMG, who wants that played? I don't know, but people like it apparently. Brenda needed to hear some Slipknot earlier, said it's been a rough couple of days. So, Brenda, you got your Slipknot. Jen said, how many votes do you need to stop playing Sleep Token? LOL, let me be vote number 1. Thanks to Nikki for the correction about Pierce Brosnan and Timothy Dalton in GoldenEye. I got my bonds mixed up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Whole bunch of texts this morning. Jim wanted to, again, remind me that it wasn't him that won the lottery down there in Georgia, the Mega Millions. Sydney also letting me know that Dutch, according to her research, was not on any streaming services. Thank you for the heads up there, Nikki, or Sydney. Appreciate that. Thanks for all the correspondence. Always good to hear from you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk to you then.